When my dad was a college student at Ole Miss, his position in the Associated Student Body was Shrimp and Beer Committee Chair. Budweiser used to sponsor his fraternity spring parties, and this university literally had a keg budget for what was then called Dixie Week. Now beer isn't even allowed on campus, and the university spends its money publicizing the strike policy. The culture of alcohol in the United States and on our campus has clearly changed since the school days of our parents. In 1984, Ronald Reagan's Congress passed the Federal Aid Highway Act, which imposed a 10% penalty on highway appropriations for states with drinking ages lower than 21. Today, in my speech, I will examine the extremes of this argument surrounding America's legal drinking age. I will show that although the argument for maintaining 21 as the legal drinking age has important and notable points, the responsibilities that the American government allots to 18-year-olds is more than equivalent to the responsibility required for the mature use of alcohol. Finally, I will present alternative ways that I believe the national and state governments could attack and potentially eliminate the number one problem associated with young drinkers, drunk driving fatalities. There are valid points for each side of this argument. Because it is obvious that 21-year-olds today purchase alcohol for those younger than them, it could be said that by lowering the drinking age, 18-year-olds will purchase for those even younger than them. Organizations such as Mothers Against Destructive Decisions rally against the argument that keeping the drinking age at 21 will prevent a large number of drunk driving deaths. However, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration study done in 2002, the largest number of alcohol-related traffic fatalities occurred among 21-year-olds, followed in second by 22-year-olds, and in third by 23-year-olds. The National Council of Alcohol and Drug Dependency stated that about 110,000 deaths occurred in 2008 due to alcohol-related causes. 13,470 of these were drunk driving accidents. In the Washington Post article, Drinking Age Paradox, published April 7th of 2008, George Will interviewed John McCardle, president of Middlebury College in Vermont, on his stance regarding the drinking age. McCardle states that alcohol is and always will be a reality of 18, 19, and 20-year-olds. Raising the drinking age has forced underage drinkers, especially college students, to move out of the supervision and influence of responsible adults. Instead, the culture of underage drinking has gone, in the words of McCardle, off campus and underground. Instead of drinking in moderation, many underage drinkers feel the need to binge drink for fear of being caught by authorities. Of the 110,000 deaths by alcohol-related causes, over half, more than 55,000 individuals died due to binge drinking in 2008. Often, underage drinkers and their friends overindulge in alcohol, become sick, and are then too scared to call for help when in actuality it may be a necessity. A recent episode of 60 Minutes followed a family whose son died of alcohol poisoning at his fraternity's initiation party because his friends were unaware of the symptoms of alcohol poisoning and were too scared to call an ambulance because they were all underage. When I asked people on their thoughts regarding the topic of my speech, most of them replied with a response similar to, "If you can fight and die for your country, you should be able to drink." Although this presents an important point, this argument in of itself is a fallacy, begging the question to be exact. As critical thinkers, we all now know the importance of validity and soundness in an argument. As crucial as it is that this speech is persuasive, it is equally important that its form is valid and its content is true. There are three premises to this argument. Premise 1, dying for your country. Premise 2, dying for your country constitutes a certain amount of responsibility. And premise 3, responsibility in dying and fighting for your country is equivalent to the responsibility required in the mature use of alcohol. Our conclusion is that dying and fighting for your country constitutes the same amount of responsibility as drinking alcohol. Now I can say this statement and feel confident that it is fully understood because its premises are clear. If an 18-year-old can go to war and die for their country, then 18-year-olds should be able to drink alcohol. Not only young adults are fighting against this law. The Amethyst Initiative was launched in July 2008. It is made up of over 134 college and university chancellors and presidents across the U.S. These individuals have signed a public statement stating that despite the drinking age of 21, underage drinking continues and there is a culture of dangerous binge drinking on college campuses. They propose that moving the drinking age back to 18 will promote moderation among young drinkers. Members include presidents of Johns Hopkins, Dartmouth, Duke, Middlebury, and Millsaps College. If the real issue is drunk driving fatalities, the more logical step would be to institute harsher punishment for DUI offenses. Suspend licenses for 5 years instead of 6 months. Perhaps a licensing program should be instituted to consume alcohol at all. Instead of showing an ID, show your alcohol license. And when you walk across the stage at graduation, along with your diploma, you could receive your certificate of alcohol education. It's high time that the national and state governments reevaluate the efficiency of their laws and how they address top priorities. 18-year-olds in America have the right to marry, adopt children, serve as legal guardians, purchase tobacco and firearms, and join the military. In relation to the ability to purchase and use tobacco, it should be noted that over 365,000 people die each year from tobacco products, triple the number of those killed by alcohol-related incidents. The government is entrusting 18-year-olds with raising a child and being a good role model. This is far, far greater responsibility than drinking maturely. And let's just be honest, the thought of most of you all having children right now is frankly scary. I know I'm not alone when I say I'd rather see you nursing a beer than a baby.